that boy Benjamin is moving so different. He's taking over the succession war with martial law. It's kind of unfair. But oh my God, Hunter x Hunter and another banger chapter. So where we left off in this chapter, Benjamin walks into Prince Tserriednich's room as Prince Tserriednich is still in Zetsu. Everyone in Tserriednich's room is on their hands and knees just like Sokov. When Tserriednich asks his brother Benjamin to fight him, he just shoots him and says, "Did I tell you to speak?" Sokov is so shocked by this. We see Tserriednich's body falls to the floor after getting shot. We see from his facial expression with blood coming out of his mouth. And Benjamin standing on top of him said, "I sentence you to death." Sokov is so confused by this. He thinks it's an illusion and it's fake due to Tserriednich's ability. Benjamin stands over Tserriednich's body with his shoe, telling him to burn this sight in his eyes and then go to hell. This will be the last thing you see. Then we hear some loud stomping, like he's stomping on his brother's head. And he looks like he loves it with his eyes closed, taking in the moment. Benjamin believes that Tserriednich would have a counter type of Nen ability, but it seemed like he didn't. He tells him that Zetsu is very dangerous because once you go in it, even your guardian Nen beast disappears. And then asks him if he's still listening. I'm like, bro, you just stomped his head in. Sokov is so confused. He doesn't know if Benjamin's real or fake. He can't tell if this is reality. And he's wondering if everyone else that's in the room are seeing the same thing as him. Benjamin then addresses Sokov and says, if you ever have an opportunity to testify about this incident, state exactly what you saw. Sokov is weirded out by this because he's like, that's deja vu. Tserriednich just told me the same thing. Benjamin then starts talking shit about his brother, calling him human garbage. Even without the succession war, he was going to kill him with his own hands. In other words, this is a private execution, saying he's non-deserving of the succession war. Benjamin then gives an opportunity to everyone in Tserriednich's room to testify of his countless crimes before trial, and if you do that, they will reduce their sentence, and tells them to think carefully about it. Volkov is starting to believe this is real. He needs somehow to verify this is not a part of Tserriednich's illusion. He needs to see if Tserriednich still has that scar on her face, because only Nen users can see it. That's the only way he's going to believe if this is illusion or not. Benjamin tells his guards to take Sokov and Danzig back to the bureau and place them in custody, as the military personnel are going to meet up at the Ministry of Justice. That's where they're going to establish their headquarters on the 7th floor. Tells his men to complete the preparation and secure the building before I arrive. Benjamin leaves Tserriednich's room, and then we see a little flashback of Tserriednich loading up another toxin poison in his boot. The one that he got poisoned, Camilla got poisoned. He's able to poison someone else now. We're back to the present, and he's walking down the hall, saying he's doing this for the great Kakin Empire. Meets up with some of the soldiers, and he asks how many princes that they have, and they only have the 2 of them, the 5th and the 6th prince. He asks why so few, and I guess the 3rd and the 7th already escaped before the orders were issued. And one of the hunters on the ship assaulted the Kakin doll and helped the 7th prince escape. Benjamin is like, we can use that for leverage. Once the Ministry of Justice is secure, they're going to start putting pressure onto the Hunter Society. They're going to make a special trial and issue a warrant for that Hunter Society member who helped the 7th prince escape. And then they're going to strike a deal with the hunters for the search and capture of the 3rd and 7th prince. Another guard answers and says Koban Toba might have got infected by the 3rd prince Nen beast, because he was the guard for Benjamin that was assigned to her, and he picked up one of the coin from the guardian Nen beast, and it somehow might have affected him. But Benjamin replies and said no need to worry, because since he's aware of it, that means it's like semi-coercion. He's going to question him personally. Another guard brings up room 109, where they found Captain Balsamilko found unconscious in a room, and it looks like he regained himself. And they questioned him with that Q&A that Benjamin gave him, and they found out he's 100% really him. Benjamin was really confused by this. He was like, bro, so Hulkenberg's ability isn't to transfer body, but he was 100% sure that he was able to do it. But it seems like he's out of Balsamilko now, and we just don't know where he's at. Balsamilko wants to be arrested also, and he's being held in the dining room with Koban Toba. And there's one of the soldiers asks Benjamin, what should we do? He says he still wants to talk to the 2 princes that they have, and to direct everyone else outside of the dining room to wait outside until he wants to just talk to the princess himself. Then we see the room that Benjamin wanted everyone assembled at. We see Balsamilko and the other guard, Koban Toba. Seems like they're getting it directed. Everyone's leaving the room, as we see the 2 princes, the 3rd and the 5th and the 6th, sitting down at the table. Tubepa then says, hey, big brother. As Benjamin walks in and sits down, he informs Tubepa and Tyson about the situation and why he made martial law. Because a special weapon was stolen. Tyson's very worried about this. Who was it? And Benjamin responds as he already identified the culprit, and he's part of the royal guard, but he also has really close ties to Camilla, and the stolen component can't be used, but they're gonna recover it anyway as precaution. That's why he called special martial law. Tubeppa then asks a valid question, like, why did you bring it on the ship in the first place? And he was using it to attend for the the dark continent, for the dangerous life forms on there. Tyson then says if there's no risk of it being used, let's just go back to killing each other. And Benjamin responds, oh, there's another matter on that, the succession war. He tells about Kurapika's hypothesis that multiple of us, of the princes, survive to our destination, that the protection that the nation of Kakin has with the guardian spirit will be gone, and also the royal dynasty will collapse, but those princes that are alive can survive. So that's why he wanted to gather all the princes together and see, like, make a discussion. He says, unfortunately, it appears that not everyone agrees, as he releases that toxin, I think it's TB17, affecting Tyson and Tubeppa. Benjamin then gets up and tells Tubeppa and Tyson that they cannot leave their quarters until martial law is over. They're also going to be doing routine safety checks. And this is when Tubeppa knew that he was going to do something during these safety checks. Tubeppa even asked if they can join along with these safety checks. They were somewhere in the Black Whale, and we can hear the commotion in the Black Whale. And it's due to the army doing these safety checks around. Benjamin finally joins the army on these safety checks. And also Balsamilko and Kobentoba is with him. They come to Prince and, like, Prince Benjamin, they didn't think it was a good idea for them to accompany him due to them betraying him, and it would, like, lower the morale of the soldiers, and they still didn't know what was done to them, that it could happen again. Benjamin tells them, don't worry about that, just focus on the task. Tells them to use their nen with their eyes. Goy, as they see, got that shock look on their face because they can see Benjamin has been poisoned. And he tells them it's the curse that was placed on him by Camilla's private soldiers, the have-nots, and he was affected, the TSK. He has roughly half a day left. On top of that, he's got the curse of the Beyond Netero, and he's probably even more powerful than Camilla's with the have-nots. All he could say is that exciting? As they have a shocked face on them, he asks them, what do we do with the enemy? Annihilate them all? And then Benjamin says, what about death? It's our friend, they respond. And who are we? The first division of the Kakin royal army. Benjamin then tells Arsamillo that they're gonna try to find the 9th prince and see who he switched with. I guess they could tell proof by a mark on their hand with a feather. Kobentoba tells him that the power of the coin from the guardian Nenbi is strong enough to make the holder compelled to tell a secret. It's only after 10 days of holding it, but he's worried for the next day when the 11th is gonna, maybe something stronger is gonna appear. Benjamin tells him, don't worry, nothing else will change, and that they're gonna corner the 3rd prince starting from the top and crush him at the bottom. Then we see the guards going into the mafia room and arresting him. I guess the mafia room guy is getting arrested because he helped one of the princes, I think the 3rd prince, escape. Then Benjamin started discussing if multiple princes survive when they reach the destination. Benjamin is thinking about the alternative, what could happen, and seeing that if none of the princes survive till the end of the destination, thinking if that would be a worse scenario. But then I guess there's this special law for emergency crisis that happens. We then see Benjamin using that spy technique on Camilla, thinking about, oh yeah, she's gonna die soon. But Camilla's, like, rushing to see all these medical staff to see if she's, like, it's a bacteria or whatever, or a virus. The scene then cuts to him looking at Prince Tserriednich, and he's just saying the most awful things about him and glad that he's died. And then he tells things about Tubeppa and then Tyson, how he affected them. They probably going to die at the same time as Camilla. He thinks about the other prince, Fugetsu, how he's all depressed and everything. And he thinks that he's going to go out by taking himself out. Prince Wobble, how the queen, he respects her for making the switcheroo and won't do really anything to them. Also, I think Fugetsu is poisoned by the TSK. I only have 10 minutes, so I got like 1 more minute. And this chapter is so much information. He says if he finds out that Wobble is the real Wobble and then he becomes a throne, he's gonna, like, kill them and the whole family. But his whole goal is to try to kill everyone, all the princes, and enact the emergency law where basically the current king is gonna pick the successor. And he wants his son to be selected as king. In the last part of the chapter, we get to explain what Benjamin's Nen Beast is. It's called Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's going to infuse with his Nen after Benjamin dies. And out of all his relatives, to pick which one they're going to be his Nen Beast. Benjamin then can't be a successor to be king. But if every time someone of they're protecting dies, they can pick another one. And they're deciding back and forth from Benjamin to the Nen Beast. What a crazy chapter, bro. It was so much information. Tagashi always dropping gems, bro.